guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Feud Season 2, Capote versus the Swans. This is episode 4. And why did I get emotional? But let's get into it, y'all. Like I said in the intro, I do not know why I teared up like twice. Like I was in here like, oh my God. Like I don't know what's up with my emotions. But the episode opens up and they're playing this song, It's Impossible by Perry Combe. Is it Perry Combs or Perry Combe? I don't know. Black people love to put S's on the ends of things. Because there was no S at the end of that man's name for me to call him Perry Combs. But we see Babe, they're playing the song, and we find out that's one of her favorite songs. So they're playing the song. She's getting ready, like she's getting her hair done, putting on makeup, putting on a beautiful dress, just really feeling her thing. Like she's getting ready to go somewhere. I thought she was going to meet the girls or maybe meet Bill at dinner, something. But we find out that she is going to the hospital to get her treatment, her radiation treatment, and get x-rays. They then settle on this scene where she's actually getting the x-rays done, I think, and it looks painful. Then she's sitting in the office with her doctor, and they're showing her the x-rays, and pretty much we find out that radiation is not really helping, other than it's stopping the cancer from metastasizing, meaning spreading all throughout her body. And she's pretty frustrated and upset because I think in her mind she thought with the radiation that it would get rid of the cancer, and how painful it's been. She kind of feels like I'm doing all of this for nothing, pretty much. And the doctor's like, no, because if we weren't doing radiation, you would be in even more pain. And she's like, I'm already in pain. What's a little bit more pain gonna do to me? You know what I mean? So then she brings up, is there anything else I can do? And the doctor brings up infrons. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's still a study that they do in oncology, but I don't know. So she's pretty much like over it. He then brings up that Bill was suggesting that she goes to Paris to do this study that they're doing with peach pits. Babe is like, girl, that's not my ministry. That's not my move. I'm not doing that. And the doctor ends up saying, I'll talk to Bill, but it's kind of hard to talk to somebody who's used to running the world. And when you think about it, him like starting CBS and being one of like those pivotal channels, even till this day, people watch CBS. But like back in the day, he had so much influence because he dictated what people watched, and people were rushing to their TVs to watch the shows that were on his station. So it's pretty hard for him to break out of knowing that like you can't run cancer, like the doctor said. So he's about to tell Babe about how serious her situation is, but the phone keeps ringing and she's like, just answer it. But I think she started to realize like, no, you were about to tell me something important, so just tell me what it is. And she's like, how long do I have? And we don't see the doctor say anything, but we can kind of tell that it's pretty dire, that like she's eventually like she's coming to the end of her journey on life, like not journey of life, but like journey on this earth pretty much. So we then get this scene. The girls are at their favorite restaurant. It's CZ and Slim, and they're talking. And CZ tells Slim, girl, get this. Truman wants to bring back the black and white party, the masquerade ball. And Slim is like, girl, that man is like a cockroach. You can't get rid of him. He keep coming back. And so we see a scene where where CZ and Truman met up at the same restaurant again. And pretty much Truman is telling CZ like, girl, I want to have the party again. I want to invite all the Swans. I think it'd be beautiful. It will show the power of friendship. And CZ is pretty much looking at Truman like, girl, that ship is sailed. Them girls don't rock with you. They don't fool with you. The vibes aren't vibing the way you think they vibing. And this right here is not going to do anything for you, baby. This little party, girl, you might not want to do it because I don't think nobody gonna come. You might get embarrassed. But Truman is like, no, I'm gonna do it. Again, it flashes back to Slim and she pissed. Like Slim is like, for why? Why is he doing this? Like, I'm sick of him. You know what I mean? And so then Babe comes and she sits down and she thinks Slim thinks Babe is going to laugh at the thought of Truman doing the ball again. So Slim tells Babe, and Babe actually has a different reaction where she's like, I might go if he invites me. And Slim is looking at her like, girl, what? What you mean? Like, we not divided. We united at this. We all hate him. And I'm like, girl, it's only you that seems to be holding this torch of anger and vengeance for Truman. Everybody else is kind of like still mad at Truman, but they don't want to like end him. Him not being a part of high society, they already know is killing him slowly on the inside, that I don't think they feel the need to do like any more things to him. That's like, okay, if I get invited, I might show up, I might not, but I'm not like knocking the idea. And us knowing that Babe is reaching the end of like the line, she's pretty much kind of like, girl, I want to dance. I want to have a good time. The last time they did that ball, it was magical. It was a good time. I had a fun time and I want to dance more. Like, I'm dying. Like, I want to have a good time. She then checks, Babe ends up checking Slim, telling her, girl, you always want to control everything. Everything does not need to be controlled. Like, you're not going to keep controlling this circle. So we could already tell, like I could tell, I don't know if y'all could tell, but I could tell on episode 1 that Slim thought she was in charge of everybody and that she thought she was the HBIC of the group. And everybody is kind of like, girl, we let you think that, but you not that girl no more. Like, we kind of sick of you. We all grown. We don't need nobody trying to control the group. Then Babe pissed me off because she asked for a cigarette. And I'm like, you have cancer. Lung cancer to be exact. Stop smoking them cigarettes. Stop smoking them. So then we get this scene of Truman at his apartment. Girl, I saw John and I got pissed. I said, Truman, that man beat you up in front of a room full of people on Thanksgiving, bro. Bloody knocked out your tooth. And then when y'all got back to New York, he beat you so bad you were in the hospital. And then you had to have a home nurse to nurse you back to health. Oh, my God. Truman. So Truman is cooking. He's talking about all the people he wants to invite to his party. Fidel Castro, Barbara Walters, a princess or two. And I said, first of all, I don't even think Fidel Castro is allowed back in America or even could come to America. I don't know. But I was just like, Dad, out of these people don't seem like they would mix like that, Truman. So John is sitting on the couch while Truman's like cooking, looking at the basketball game. And then Truman comes over there, you know, he's caressing John's dirty head, old drunk man, psycho. And they're both going back and forth saying the names of people they want to invite. So then John brings up this girl named Catherine Cooterman or something like that. And Truman's like, oh, that's a nice name. I've never heard of her. Like, is she like, are you dating her? And John is like, no. And so Truman was like, are you effing her? And John is like, maybe. And then Truman's like, really, John? Really, John? You told me you stopped effing girls. Like, why are you effing girls again? And then John brings up how, like, you are going to be inviting all these hoity-toity, pretentious people. I need one person that's normal like me, which I guess is Catherine. On top of that, I know you're going to be inviting Jack, and he going to be mean-mugging me the whole night because he hate me. So don't invite Jack. And then Truman's like, Jack's my friend or something like that. And then John punches Truman in the face because John doesn't like the fact that Jack is still around because John knows that Jack doesn't like his psycho self. And he's like, that's my nature. I said, you are crazy. So Truman gets hit and then he backs up and he gets up out the chair and he's like, okay, you gonna hit me again? Just hit me again so we can get this out of the way. And then John gets mad and he like leaves. And then Truman sits down and he's like touching like the inside of his mouth and he's bleeding. And I said, let that man go, Truman. He no good. Just because y'all have a good, you know what, let it. The sex ain't worth it, okay? The sex is not worth you getting beat up every night. The next scene we get is of Slim and Bill messing around. And I knew they was messing around. If you go back to episode 2, when Joanna and Slim are praying the Thanksgiving prayer, there's a scene of Bill like mesmerizingly, like mesmerized by Slim as she's speaking. And it gave the same energy of him when he was ogling that French lady, or Miss European, whatever, 1985 or something, I don't know, at the table when on the first episode. And I said, are they messing around? Are they messing around? It's giving they messing around. But I was like, maybe I'm reaching, but I wasn't reaching. Y'all raggedy. Bill is a piece of you know what. He a piece of you know what. And Slim is a no good whore. She a no good whore. You are a horrible friend and a horrible person. That lady is dying of cancer and you cheating with her no good husband and you know her husband be cheating. Like, this is not a case of like, oh, the man is worse because he's married. No, it's worse on both sides, because Slim knows Bill cheats on Babe, and the fact that you're now a part of the women that he cheats with. On top of that, she dying from cancer. You know everything about her. You know everything about, and Bill is just horrible because, like, why are you cheating on her yet again with a friend? Both people are trash. They're pieces of garbage. I was like, y'all are horrible people. But there's this scene. They're like in a bedroom, Slim all sprawled out, smoking a cigarette after they done had sex, and Bill is just like, he getting ready to leave. And Slim tells Bill she gonna sue Truman, and Bill is like, girl, you sure you want to do that? Because Truman is many things, but one thing he ain't is stupid. So you sure you really want to sue him? And she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna let him get away with this. He then Bill then tells Slim like he has to figure out what he's gonna do about this whole party, because he don't want Babe and Truman to get back together. He does not want them to reconcile. And Slim was like, girl, I got that. I'm in control of that. I'm going to control all of this. Like, I'm going to work on Babe, and we're going to get Truman. So don't you worry about it. Just keep on kissing me. I said, you nasties. Okay? So then we get this scene of Truman eating alone at their favorite restaurant. And while he's there, he gets up telling the waiter to pack up his lunch while he goes to the bathroom. And then when he walks out, Slim is there. So Slim is pretty much telling Truman, girl, I got your cord. They throwing shots at each other. She called him the Lollipop Guild. He told her skin was rough and raggedy and she needed to do something about that. Then he says, you know what? I miss you, but I miss Babe even more. Letting her know, girl, I know that you've always wanted me to love you more than Babe, but you was never that girl for me. Then she tells Truman, I'm going to sue you. I'm suing you for defamation, and I'll keep suing you, especially if I find out that you sending Babe an invitation to your party. Okay. And Truman is kind of like, okay, girl. Then he brings up, no, what's her name? He brings up Slim always wanting the spotlight, but him always casting it on her, but more so on Babe. Then they talk about how Slim tells Truman, you just trying to get good and good with Babe now that she's dying. So clearly Truman knows that Babe is dying now. And she ends up telling Truman that, like, Babe actually hates you. She loves you. You're not even in her will. She took you out of it, bro. She don't even see it for you like that. And she ends up telling him, you're a person that's incapable of change. But then I can't take anything that she says seriously, because you sleeping with that lady husband and you know better than Truman. Raggedy heifer. So then Jack shows up at the restaurant and Truman and him have some cute little banter, but Jack is like, business. He pretty much says Truman's neurologist called Jack after doing a CAT scan, pretty much saying that all the booze and alcohol that Truman has been consuming is shrinking his brain. Like, his brain is legitimately dying. Okay, it's dying. And he's like, I don't want to watch you circle the drain. I don't want to watch you circle the drain. I don't want you got to stop. You got to stop doing all this drinking. He was like, there's a car outside to go to Silver Hills Hospital. I guess it's like a rehab facility to get you back together. Okay, I packed you a bag. You need to go. You need to stop seeing John. You got to stop this, Truman. I can't see you down bad like this. And then Truman is like, he was like, jealousy is not that good on you, Jack. And Jack is like, I'm not jealous, as he like pulls off Truman's glasses. Truman got a black eye. So John beating Truman up again. Like, I'm just like, my God. And he's like, I'm not jealous. I'm angry. I'm effing angry with you for allowing your life to get this way. And Truman was like, I'll try. And Jack is like, that's not acceptable. That's not, like, you have to do this. And then he says, I'm going to get rid of John. And then this is where I kind of like teared up. It was a scene of where Truman like touches John's hand. And then John puts his hand over Truman's hand. And I said, friendship. This is the person you need to be with. I said, they're in game. I said, this is so beautiful. I don't know. That man trying to save you, Truman. Let him save you. The next scene we get is Slim enacting her plan of making sure that Babe and Truman don't reconcile, as well as pretty much trying to get this whole ball situation that Truman wants to have squashed out. She's on the phone with a reporter by the name of Liz, basically telling her to write this piece about how Truman's party is going to be a social disaster and a nightmare. She also adds that she just doesn't want this to happen. But the lady on the phone ends up saying, the reporter's like, well, CZ feels differently. And Slim is like, she don't care what CZ feels. We need to do this. And at first the lady was like, no, I don't want to do it. But then she changed her mind and was like, okay, you just owe me. We then get this scene of Babe and the maid, and she's putting on her night clothes, and she tells her maid, like, hey, anything that comes to this house, if it's an invitation, give it directly to me. Don't give it to Bill. So she already knows what's happening, because she also brings up the article that Liz, the reporter that Slim was talking to, had written. So she knows what Slim is doing. Like, Babe is already onto Slim's game, and she knows that Slim is trying to have the party that Truman's trying to throw stopped. So then we have this scene of CZ and Joanna going to the rehab facility that Truman's at, and he's pretty much being Truman, but you can tell that he's sober in the sense of that he's not really slurring his words. He's a lot more coherent. And then we see him talking about group therapy, where he's talking about this man in group therapy, and we see it's a younger gentleman, but I guess he has like obsessive compulsive disorder. I think he has OCD. But him and Truman is making eyes at each other. Truman looking at him, he looking at Truman, and I'm like, y'all should be concerned about healing, not penis, not dick. What are we doing? What are we doing, Truman? They didn't even tell us what that man's name was, but healing, not this. So then they're like, he's telling Joanna and CZ about him. The man is actually like in the dining room area that they're in. And they look at him and they like, Truman. And he's like, girl, the man hung like a horse. Then we get a scene of them doing it. Him getting his back blown out by this man. And I'm like, my God, today. They leave the place. And CZ was like eating pie, but she was going to eat it, but she didn't. And so he's like, can I have it? And he takes the pie with him to this barn where they have like, I guess, painting, like they have like a painting class if you want to. They also have like meditation going on. And he gives the pie to this girl named Esme, who I guess is the one running the painting class. We get a glimpse of CZ just being like, enamored by all the paint and the designs that people are making, the art that's in there, because we know she used to be a muse to the great artist, as well as she used to do art. So I think this is just making her feel some type of way, like she needs to get back to that part of herself that she let go before she became a part of that she let go once she became a part of like high society. So while she's there, she goes to where Truman is at, like his little station in the art room, and she sees the article that Liz wrote for Slim about how this party that Truman is throwing is crap, is not going to be good. He's just trying to get back in good graces with people. It's going to be a bust. Don't go to the party. So then we get this scene of CZ, Slim, and what's his name? CZ, Slim, and Babe, and they're at this, like, it looks like a fashion show, and pretty much Babe and CZ are telling Slim to lay off on writing all these pieces about Truman. Like, girl, we get it, you hate him, but like, there's no need for you to be trashing him in the paper when he's at rehab trying to get better. And Slim is like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. And they're like, girl, we're not stupid. We know you talked to Liz. And then I think they also brought up this girl named like Reba or Barbara, whoever, somebody else that write like things in the paper. And they just kind of like, yeah, girl, we know it's you, chill out. And then Slim and Babe get into it, because Babe is like, I really might go. If he invites me, I might go. And Slim is just like, you really gonna go? And Babe is like, girl, yes, like, you not the boss of me. Get over yourself, girl. Get over yourself. So then we see that Truman is back in New York, And he's back at his apartment. Jack, being the great man that he is, fills his apartment full of stuff. And Truman is talking about like staying in New York, while Jack is like, why don't you come to Switzerland with me? Like, you can clear your mind, we can have a good time. Then they start talking about like what is their relationship. And Jack is like, I don't think we could call each other boyfriends. I think we're more like brothers, I guess friends. I don't know. He's just like, Truman, you're one of the most, like, you're the most important thing in the world to me. Then they have this beautiful scene where Truman holds his hand and like thanks him about, he was like, I don't know what to give somebody who gave me the world. And I'm like, y'all are in game. Why are you messing this up, Truman? Why? Because Jack really cares about you. I can't. And I even wrote in my notes, they're in game. That the way that Truman held his hand and Jack held his, I was like, friendship, love. Truman, pick the right man. We have is of Lee and Slim going to dinner. And mind you, Lee gained so many points with me at this dinner because she was getting Slim together. She come in there with an attitude off rip, basically getting straight to the point at the table with Slim, basically telling Slim, girl, stop attacking Truman. Like I said in the last review, Lee has Truman's cards, and she basically was like, that man is dying of alcoholism and he's trying to get his life back on track, and you keep doing this and you trying to avenge everybody, but nobody needs you to avenge them. Like, you're acting like a 19th century villain. Like, none of us need you to do that, sis. None of us need you to do that. And then Slim is reverting back to what she always said, but what, like, I'm doing this for Babe. What, like, you know what he did to Babe? Like, what he did to Babe, girl. And Lee says it's no worse than you effing her husband. And Slim was like, girl, how you know? I said, yeah, you whore. And so Slim is like, who else knows? Who else knows? Who else knows? And she was like, girl, no more than the people that love you know that you sleeping with that man. And then Slim is like, you know, it's really a friendship. It's not even close to an affair. Maybe it's just our way of getting through grief. And I said, you still gross. You still a horrible person. And then she tries to, like, she is like, Slim is trying to like justify it and be like, you know, I'm just so tired of being strong, and I'm just so tired of being lonely because it's hard to be lonely. And like I said in my last review, I honestly think there's nothing wrong with a woman being smart. And I do agree with what Slim said, where she's like, women kind of have two positions: either dumb yourself down and get the world, or be intellectual and be fundamentally lonely. And in some regards, that's not the case for every woman, but for a mass majority, it is. But I also feel like Slim is a bitch. Like, yes, her intellect could scare people away. It could be off-putting, but you carry yourself in such a pompous and pretentious way where it's like, girl, your personality is what pushes people off of you and which pushes people to the side and don't want to be around you. And if you were really content with the way you were moving and how you show up in life, you wouldn't be sitting here talking about you're so tired of being strong and you're lonely. Because there's plenty of women that I know personally, and me myself, that like, it's okay to be strong. It's okay to be intellectual. It's okay to be smart. But like, it's not okay to be nasty and mean to people because you live a lonely life because no one wants to be around you like that. I think that's more so what it is. I think Slim has a off-putting personality, which makes her lonely because she doesn't have fulfilling like community or friendships. Girl, it ain't got nothing to do with you being smart. You a bitch. That's why don't nobody want to be around you, lady. So she ends up saying that she's going to stop being with Bill and she's going to lay off on Truman. But she then kind of reneges on it and keeps going, talking about what are you going to do when he puts out a chapter on you? Because I don't think Truman ever finished answered prayers. I think what ended up happening is that he showed that little excerpt in Esquire, and it was just about Bill and Babe, that like, and some other people, but she pretty much was like, what if you get a page about yourself? Because Liz wasn't in that excerpt. Like, I think there was a part of her in there, but it never like defamed her or put out all her business or anything like that. And Liz is kind of just looking at her like, girl, we'll deal with it when we get there, but leave that man alone. Leave that man alone. We then have a scene with Bill and Babe, and they're back at their house, and it's late at night. He like moved a picture that like a painting that she liked in the house in the room closer to her room. And so he talks about how CBS is now third and ABC is killing him. Like they haven't been third in a long time. They've always been first. But he's like, let's not worry about that. So we then see him put on the song It's Impossible because we know that's Babe. He's like, oh, this is your favorite song. He ends up moving the coffee table and he's like, come on, let's dance together. As they're dancing, she ends up telling Bill, I want to go to Truman's ball. And Bill is like, for real, babe? And he's like, yeah. She's like, I'm tired of being angry. I want to forgive him. And then she's like, you know what? I don't want you to be lonely anymore, Bill. When I leave, you can like pretty much tell him you can be with Slim. Like she knows about Slim. She's like, Slim is smart. She's strong-willed and she won't let you bully him. And he's kind of taken aback and he's like, does that mean you forgive me? And I started screaming at at my iPad. I was like, girl, tell that man no. Tell that man no. Go to the grave hating him. Tell that man no. And you know, unforgiving. Well, I mean, she probably would just don't forgive him. He does not deserve forgiveness. So she doesn't even tell him that she forgives him. She just kisses him. And they kiss and they dance together. And she's just like, she don't say nothing. I'm just mad. But basically, she knows about the affair with Slim. Babe knows about the affair with Slim. And I'm just mad that she forgives him. Cause she should have just went to the grave hating the man. Cause I would have. The worst part of the episode, Truman got back with John and he relapsed. And Jack caught them in the bed together. I said, Truman. And you could tell that Truman was drunk because he was doing that laugh he does. And Jack was so pissed because the agreement they had is like he would still be in Truman's life and he wouldn't give up on him as long as he tried his best not to relapse and didn't get back with John. And I'm like, Truman in that bed with that evil man. And I know it's hard to be sober. I also know that like it takes people who are abuse victims like 7 times before they leave their abuser. But girl, Truman, I hate John. I hate him. So then we get this scene of Bill and Slim where Bill is telling Slim she know we having an affair. And Slim is freaking out. I'm like, girl, what? How dare you? Then she all of a sudden want to be remorseful. And I'm like, what you being remorseful for? You know, I'm irritated now. Now I'm looking at my screen irritated because I'm like, you were so gleefully sleeping with that lady's husband. Now let's say you're remorseful because she ends up saying, I don't know how I'm going to face her. Like, talk to her ever again now that she knows. She was like, did you mess up with a Freudian slip? And Bill is like, no, like she's my wife and she knows everything. And she knows me. And so I know she knows that we're like, we've been together. And I guess they were going to like, I think Bill was like, she's okay with it. She says she's okay with it. And that's when Slim says, I don't even know if I can face her. And then Bill says, I don't even know how I'm going to like live without her. And just showing like where they're both at in this conversation. Because the truth of the matter is, she's dying. So it's like, either face her or not face her. Y'all both are trash. And I don't care about neither one of you. I don't care about neither one of you anymore. So then we have this scene of Truman on the phone at his apartment with CZ. And then he ends up getting off the phone abruptly because he like ordered, what's it called? Ordered Chinese takeout. And then we end up seeing like when he gets the food behind the guy who's delivering the food, it's John's daughter, Carrie. And Truman's like, hi, Carrie. Your daddy not here. Me and him are not together no more. And Carrie's like, it's okay. Like, she was like, and Truman's like, don't tell me to take him back. Because John, And we find out that John was just as abusive and as scary to his own family as he is to Truman. And so Truman's like, I don't want your father anymore. And the Carrie's like, I'm glad you took him because I don't want him. Like, our family is doing better. But now, unfortunately, their mom has turned into an alcoholic. And Carrie is there to get help. Like, she wants to be a part of, like, she wants a job. She wants to be a writer. She wants to be in this world that Truman writes about, because I think he gave her a piece of, like, one of his books, or a piece of paper, not a piece of paper, but a piece of one of his works. And she was like, I want to be a part of what you wrote about. And then she's like, I'm here to get help from you, Truman. Truman ends up telling her, you're a beautiful girl. I can call Wilhelmina a modeling agency, and you'll start booking a lot of deals, like, deals and shoots and stuff like that. But if you want to be a writer, it's going to take time. And also you need a book. So he throws her like a notebook, and he's like, write everything down, like your thoughts, your feelings, what you hear, what you see. That is how you become a great writer. Because she's like, I need a job. Like, their mom is becoming an alcoholic. She's in school, and she's like, I got to figure out a way to pay for school, but I really need your help, Truman. So Truman's like, okay, I'll help you. And anytime you come to New York, you can stay with me, because his family, like, John's family still lives in Long Island. So they still live there. But the girl is like, I want more than what's in Long Island. Like, I know I'm destined for more. And so they start to become like actual friends, and it's starting to actually help Truman with his drinking. So we then get this scene of Truman and Babs both at therapy. Truman is talking about how he's being punished from stealing from Zeus. That one story about the guy that's pushing the rock up the hill, I think he brought up, but he also brought up like a crow coming down and eating his entrails. I know that's also like a Greek story, but he was like, the crow that's doing it to me is vodka. And he's just like, this is my punishment. This is why I'm being punished. And I'm just kind of like, okay, you're doing a lot of self-loathing instead of taking accountability of how you contributed to how you got here, Truman. But it's therapy. You're supposed to talk them things out. We then see Babe doing the same thing, talking about how she's dealing with cancer and how she's pretty much accepting it. She used to have a book where she wrote down all the things she did better than other people. She threw that away. She starts talking about how she had this dream about Truman, where we know it's about Truman, where she was like, they saw each other at a bar, I think, like, or no, out walking in Paris. And then they end up going to this restaurant where they eat and talk and laugh all day. And she just talks about how she truly loved him. Like, that was the love of her life. So as like they're like fading in and out, they're going like back and forth between Babe doing therapy and talking. There's a scene of Truman and Carrie walking. We find out that they changed Carrie's name to Kate because there was already a model that was modeling at the time with the name Carrie. So her name now is Kate. And so they're walking, they're having a good time. They're all just like, you can tell that Truman really does like Kate, and he kind of feels like he's taking her under his wing. And he's saying how, like, you know, he caused so much pain to her that being able to like get her jobs and help her out is something that's like really like healing him. But as he's walking with Kate out around town, he sees Babe across the street. And so Babe is like window shopping, looking at this beautiful dress, and he sees her, and like he immediately like runs across the street, and he talks to her. He's like, oh, that's a beautiful dress that will look lovely on you. And Babe realizes that it's Truman, and she turns around with this face of like, she misses him, but she doesn't want to give him too much. And they have this conversation, and Truman ends up telling her like, we're not having the ball anymore. Like, I let that go. And she's like, that's a good thing. You don't want to ever repeat yourself. And all the while I'm like, hug each other, just hug each other. And then when they embraced, I said, oh, they finally hugged. But you know it will never be the same, because they end up making a saying like, you never want to go backwards. And he tells her like, you should buy the dress even if you were going to buy it for the party. Like, you can always wear that dress to anywhere. And then she's walking down the street, and she kind of smiles at him, but she also has this look of like, it's never going to be the same, especially because she's dying, but also it's been too much time between them, and she's still hurt by what he did. But it was just such a sweet scene, and I was just like, at least they hugged. I don't know, like, I just wanted them to hug each other, and they did. But that's how the episode ended. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts about this episode. Did you enjoy it? Like, did you see what I saw between Bill and Slim? Because I peeped at episode 2, okay? But yeah, y'all, I'm out. Deuces.